Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. Yeah, we'll try it again. Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. And my chair got stuck. Let's try that again. Oh, hi. I didn't see you there.
You know you're live, my love.
I didn't see them there.
You didn't see them
I
there.
didn't see them there. I guess typing on an empty document isn't going to work either, eh?
Probably.
Anyway, hey guys, we're there over here. We are getting started on some of our tutorials that I've been promising for a while. So it's going to be a bit haphazard. What happened was, instead of us doing the intros and the installations and everything else that's related to OBS, we've jumped in straight into some nitty-gritties. We will be doing some of those tutorials and we'll link eventually in the description, I guess. But up until that point, we are just going ahead. Reason why we had to jump ahead with this one is we actually needed to do quite a bit of cleanup on some of our OBS streams. We've got the Zumba Swiggity, we've got Tina Stoppers, and we've got 2 or 3 other streams that we're trying to manage for people. And everyone's pretty much complaining about the same thing. There's so much on this stream now and it's becoming more and more difficult to control. So we're trying to clean that up and make it easier for people to actually work on OBS. Same thing with all the other tools. We're going to talk about best practices when it comes to folders, when it comes to structures, when it comes to layers, even when we get to some of the graphic apps, which I'm going to leave to my wonderful wife because I'm not going to touch that. Okay, let's get with it, guys. Hey, so rookie mistake, I forgot to add my audio onto the other channel. Rookie. Okay, guys, I'm juggling around like 3 machines right now. So we're streaming from a machine that we're actually setting up, and my streaming machine is a separate machine that I was sitting behind. Make sure everyone can hear me. Everything sounds good. Noise filters are off. Yep. Cool. Let's get this going. I'm like, it would help if I actually opened up OBS. Get this thing started before I actually jumped in. So here's what's happening. We've got a Zumba class and we use a green screen in our Zumba class. But the problem with this green screen is that, well, we've got so many different options for all these variations on all these different backgrounds. We haven't labeled them properly. We also haven't gotten a chance to actually sort through it, and it's a nightmare when we're in it and we're trying to get all our media sources done. One second. So we have multiple cameras as well. Oh, can't actually show it. So we've got a Logitech Brio. So that's the camera that's showing right now. And what we've got is a green screen filter on it. As you can see here, just remove it so everyone can see. That's a green screen. Now what we need to do is we need to take that green screen and overlay various other things behind it. So what we've got is some of these, for instance, Valentine's Day, something like that, the 2-color, and that should be appearing behind the scene when we use our green screen. This is very messy, and you can see we've messed up because we've also got 2 or 3 other areas where we've kept replicating all this information. So we're going to clean it up. So to start off with, let's just neaten this up and let's create some sections. So what you can do is you can create dummy scenes that just say this is what a certain section is. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, here's a dummy section for cameras. Let's just I'd like to keep that a bit uniform. So let's have another section for backgrounds. Let's have another section for sound. Sorry about that, the dog invaded. You should get used to this. There'll be dogs and kids and wives invading all the time. I love how everyone tries to keep quiet on these live streams. I'm like, don't worry, guys. We'll be making a shorter version of this. Just a condensed 5-minute, 10-minute, just to talk about all these points. So you don't have to sit and watch through all of these videos. Once that's available, I'll let everyone know. What else do we need? We might need some animations. And I'm also going to add one for socials. So the socials is basically all those pop-ups that you see in between where we start showing this is our YouTube channel, this is our Twitch channel, these are all the other channels. Now this is a good practice for anyone that's using OBS to actually do. On what?
YouTube.
What?
When I'm watching you, it's not very clear. I think it's YouTube.
Sorry guys. I just want to check if you guys can see everything clearly. No, I think it's showing clearly. Don't know what seems to be happening, but it's fine. There is a recording if this doesn't work out. It's okay. It's not like we have viewers. Actually, we do. 3 viewers. So we probably got Sam online, who is one of the people that we're trying to help out right now. And Tina, and I don't know who else. Okay, so let's also create a section for testing. So the idea is you do want to have this a bit messy at times, and it's going to happen. What I like to do is I like to have a bottom section which is testing, which is I can mess around with these scenes, I can do whatever I want and not worry about it. And at the end of the day, I know I'm going to trash it. Right. So this is our basis for all of the backgrounds and everything else. What we're going to do is let's start splitting off and let's separate it and put all the cameras in a separate section. Now what I like to do is I like to name all the scenes according to what it is. So what I'll do is I'll call this one Cam Greenscape. Now let's go ahead and start removing all the unnecessary pieces. And we only want to keep these, which are the audio, the video capture devices. So you can see that's the Logitech. The other one is the GoPro, which isn't connected at the moment because I'm actually using the capture device to capture the desktop. So it's as simple as that, guys. So we've got a Brio and we've got a GoPro. Now what we also probably need is we want to have an intro section. Which I'm going to put all the way on top. Let's create a scene called intro. Sorry guys, I'm working on a tiny screen at the moment. Just create some dummy text over there. Let's shrink that down a bit. Now we're going to start going through the backgrounds. Same thing. Let's duplicate what we have. Let's call this green screen backgrounds. Let's move that up. And let's clean that up. So we're getting rid of those two. Don't need it anymore. We're going to get rid of the sound. And let's start going through all of these. So what is that? That's the waving South African flag. In case you were wondering, we're South African. So let's call it media say flag. Actually, we know that these are all media, so we don't have to rename. Let's just call it GS, green screen, and flag. So we know that these are all backgrounds. This is all socials. We can actually remove that. Don't need it. This is a little web page we created that basically counts through how much Jeff Bezos earns while a page is open, which is a great piece and I love it. And we had this during our dance session. So it actually shows you while you're busy doing a dance class how much Jeff Bezos has been earning. It's just a little joke, but we found it quite entertaining and it looks quite cool. Let's rename that to green screen. Stream avatars. Let's get this going so you can see what it is. So that's just a little avatar game. So anyone that's in our Twitch, we can see them as avatars during our scenes. Got a dummy one running at the moment. So let's just see how it looks. There we go. That's what it looks like. And it also, same thing, it appears in our background. So a little difference with the scenes and the sources. Unlike the scenes where I can have these little placeholders, I can't really have the placeholders here unless I create something dummy that would actually put something. But the problem is when you do that, you might mess up and actually put the wrong info. But I'm going to show you soon a way to actually group these together so that it's a bit easier to view. Okay. This was a Valentine's Day one, which the file seems to have been removed. Again, so I'm saying this, one of the reasons why we had to do this is because we've used a lot of these videos and transitions, and we've actually removed some of the files, so we don't use them anymore. So it makes sense to actually clean this up every now and then. And you can see as you keep adding, I mean, it's very easy to add something into OBS. It's a simple drag and drop. But removing them is kind of a task that people tend to forget about. So let's call that color split. Then we had a plain old purple. So sometimes you want the colors there, but you know, fancy animations. Sometimes we just wanted to replace the colors with a basic color. And that's why this is here. I think we're still going to keep that because you never know when you want to actually just have a plain old background. Ooh, I love this. I love the way this looks. I don't actually know why we don't use this more often. I love the little subtle Saturday mashup, the text popping in and out. That's probably why, because we have a second mashup. I think what we do is let's rename this one to a mashup animation. And this one we will call Saturday mashup. Okay. These are heart rate browsers. So we've got our heart rate on our streams, and you can actually see it behind our green screen. But we've actually taken these out. So I'm actually going to remove it. It looked really good, but what we've done now is we've actually cordoned off a section of our screen so that you can actually see that more clearly. Because it's important to know your heart rate while you're busy. Image 5, Easter JPEG. Clearly we did something for Easter and we forgot to remove it. And guys, it's important, when we remove something off here, you need to make sure that the file, if there was something, that we remove the file as well. People tend to forget that. The Zumba flag. Oh. What did we have up here? Oh, an essay flag. So you can see I cheated a bit. Just want to put this up on top. So between these two, it's actually the same class behind there. All I did was change the image over it, and the texture that renders with the lighting actually affects whatever's behind it. So both of these are the same flag. You can see the movements are exactly the same. The only difference is because I put a different image on top of it, it now has a flag version of that. Super easy to do, and at some point I will make a tutorial on how to do it. At some point. Where was I? Image 2. I love our naming convention. Image 2. And it doesn't even have anything on it. So we're removing that sucker. This is one of our originals. Yes. I cannot remember the last time we actually used this one. Green screen, blue. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a really good high quality image. I think it was actually done in 4K and I've downscaled it, but yeah, looks good. Nothing wrong with it. Just doesn't have the animations. I mean, you could always add something in. You could put some lighting in here, make this glow in and out. There's lots of things that you could do. But I think we have enough. And that's the black version of it. Zumba 3D. This is actually the first animation I ever did. Well, the first animation I did on the new work. I used to do some animation back in the day using Maya and a few other things, but it's been very long. And this is all now done in DaVinci, Blender. I've started to use some Unity as well to do some work, but it's proven a bit more difficult than I thought. So, yeah. And lastly, nothing. Wow. Probably something we just downloaded off the internet and needed a quick thing. Remove. Okay, guys. So you can see that's quite a bit of info. Now let's group these together. So what we're going to do is, this is still quite messy to actually view. A good idea is to actually say group, 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 legs. So now we could always just group it like that so that we can easily see it. Then let's put the animated ones together and the games together. And that's an animated one. That's not an animated one. That's an animated one. Let's put the stream avatars way at the bottom. Plane, plane, planed, plane, and those are the animations. Let's group that and call them plane or non-animated. And let's group these together and call them animated. That's it, guys. So what happens is, as long as the group's visible, whenever we go through these, we can just select the one that we're looking for and it's visible. The great thing about, I'll show you how we're going to do that in the next steps, is to actually link all of these together. So now that we have that, what do we need? We still have a sound one that hasn't been created. So let's create a new one for sound. Move it into position. And let's let's add the sound. So we've already got the Logitech sound set up and it should be working. Nope. Let's actually, the video's on. That's the sound. And we're also going to add desktop audio. Audio output, desktop audio. So what this means is if, for instance, I was playing some music, going to play something that's non-copyright, so at least we won't get flagged. And you can see the audio playing back. And it will still be here. So what we're going to do is we're going to nest all of these now. So now we have a main scene. So immediately after our intro, we're going to have the main scene. And all of these will fit into that main scene. What you now do is you go in here and you add a new scene. You say add existing. So what we want is we want the cam green screen. We're going to add the sound scene. And we are adding the backgrounds. It's as simple as that, guys. Now what we do is you can see that the brio is actually showing up in the right position. The sound is there. Let's just make sure that the sound is working. The sound is working. It's picking up perfectly. And let's test out the backgrounds. Let's put that old SA flag. Okay, now you can see it's showing, but the problem is it's showing in the wrong place. It should be blurring behind. Now it's important, the background should be the lowest here. So these are all layers. Anything above that layer will show as clear. The reason why the green screen shows as transparent is because we set up that brio with that filter that actually makes the alpha invisible. So let's go back there. I'll show you what we mean. Under filters, we have this chroma key, and you can see it's a green key. You can change that to other colors. It will actually not show. So that's what it looks like originally. But because I've got a green screen on it, it actually takes out anything that's green in that picture. So if I was wearing green, it would disappear as well. So that's what it looks like. But when we've got the main scene, that's what we look like. That's it, guys. So, I mean, quite simply, we took that original picture. It was quite messy. We've taken all of that, filtered it out into a nice clean interface. Let's just go through this and let's actually remove all the stuff we don't want. Got that. Remove. Move. And we don't need this anymore. Now we've got a nice clean view of everything that we have. We took that messy view and it's quite simple to go through this now and actually manage everything that you need to. The nice thing is, if I'm on this screen, I can actually just go into studio mode. I can actually go into the background while we're busy and actually enable another flare. The nice thing is, because of the way it's set up, I mean, this is why you've got the Zumba up in the corner. Our green screen for footage is actually usually a massive green screen that's up in the background there. But because I'm in the other room, we're trying to do this now. The green screen is in a different position. But it's the same point. That's it for that portion, guys. We are also now going to do the same thing with my wife's stream, which is Tina Stoppers. Now, very similar to that, we actually used a pre-bought stream and we started adding quite a few extra details onto it. So similar to that, we've got extra green screens, welcomes, and a few other screens. But I think we're almost out of time. We said that we're going to keep this to about 30 minutes. I think next stream, let's talk about how we're going to clean this up. We're going to show you some nice things. And I actually want to run this from the other room so that you guys can see the camera and how we mix it with the cameras accurately. I think that will make a lot more sense than trying to do something like that. But guys, thanks for joining. Actually, let me switch on the cam. Now I need to remember which one's the cam. Hello? Oh, hi. I'm the noobiest of noobs. Noobs. I have to say all of that again. I cannot believe I have to say all of that again. I should have just kept it on the other channel. There's no sound. Yes. And I see the chat now. All those questions. Like, how do you undo? The new version of OBS does actually have an undo. Sorry, I swapped machines already because I've literally, it's a mess. I've got 4 machines right here that are on top of each other because I don't have a cable that's long enough that can reach from the one machine to the other because we're streaming from different places. We're busy setting up the stream area. We've got a whole bunch of the other devices, so that background will change probably once the new equipment arrives, which should be within this week. Yes, I will have a look at some of those comments. What we'll do is we'll make a list of everything and start putting it down for future streams. So, yeah. Thanks for joining, guys. It's been great. I hope that helps you a bit. So cleaning up OBS and getting better definitions and naming standards is going to make your life so much easier. These tutorials are meant for kind of an intermediate to advanced. I'm not doing too much of the advanced yet. those do get complicated. So the problem is it takes me a few hours. It's heavy coding. There's a lot of development that I have to do. So it's moving things from things like Touch Portal and Lure on board onto your stream, grabbing things from Twitch and integrating your Twitch chat into something else, creating some fancy web objects and web applications that we're busy putting, sticking containers out in the cloud, like fun. But thanks for joining, guys. I think the 30 minutes seems like a good balance for doing these quick tutorials. We'll make like a 5 or 10-minute version so that the internet is faster and people don't have to sit and watch me and meander about what to say. Meander. Okay, we're dead out. Ow! Click the stop. Click the stop.